dear students, today we are going to study about the transformation of the functions, especially the transformation of quadratic functions and the absolute value function. And let's see that how can we perform the transformation. So the most important thing is that you must memorize the general equation of the transformation. So if I say that what is the general equation of a transformation function, if the parent function, which means the actual function, is f of x, it could be absolute value function, it could be a quadratic function. So how can we make the transformation? So y stay there as it is, and over here the general equation for the transformation is a f of x minus h plus k, and sometimes over with the x it is written b. Okay, now have a look over here. What is a? So if we talk about a, it is called the vertical stretch or compress. So you have to memorize the names of these transformation: vertical stretch or compress. Now when is the vertical stretch? If a is bigger than 1. It means it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, 5 and so on. But if the a is between 0 and the 1, which means greater than 0 but less than 1, which means it could be half, it could be 2 by 3, it could be 0.2, it could be 0.5, it could be 0.4 and so on, then it will be a horizontal, it would be a vertical compress. So in short, for horizontal or for vertical stretch, the a should be greater than 1, and for vertical compress, it should be between 0 and 1. Now come to the part h and k. So h and k, they are actually the translations. So if h is positive, it means you have to move towards the right side, and if h is negative, you have to move towards the left side. But can you notice over here that in the formula there is already a negative sign, which means if I look at this one, yani x minus h equals to 0. If you bring the h here, so it becomes x equals to h. What does it mean? That in an equation, whenever you say, see for example x negative 3, so don't say that h is negative 3. Take the opposite sign of the h, keeping in mind that x minus h should be equal to 0. So in short, as a short trick, you have to take the opposite sign of the h. Now next, plus k. What is k? K is also the movement, translation. If k is positive, you have to move up. If k is negative, you have to move down. Okay, so it means either you translate up or down. And here for the k, we always choose the same sign. Like for the h, we take the opposite sign, but for the k, we take the same sign. Now let's see, the last thing is, what is this b represents? Now b is the horizontal stretch or compress. Now it is the opposite of the vertical stretch, stretch or compress. So it is the opposite of the a. So a is greater than 1, it is vertical stretch. So if b is greater than 1, it is horizontal compress. If a is between 0 and 1, it is vertical compress. If b is between 0 and 1, then it is horizontal stretch. So you have to memorize all this terminology, and let's try to understand about the transformation. So if the question comes, describe transformation. Describe transformation. So let's try to understand from here. So for example, if I say f of x minus h. So what is h represents? If h is positive, it means you have to move right. And if h is negative, you have to move left. And for h, always take opposite sign. Choose the opposite sign. Okay, let's try to work on it. So example 1. If I write here f of x minus 3. Any function. It could be quadratic function. It could be an absolute value function. So what is happening? So let's see here. For the solution, you tell me what is h. So what is h? In the equation, it's written x minus 3. So it's negative 3. Take the opposite sign. So it becomes positive 3. And what does positive represent? Move right. So how do you write? Move 3 units right. 3 units right. That's all. This is how you have to describe the transformation. Let's choose another question. So for example, f of x plus 9. So what is the first thing? You have to choose what is h equal to. And take the opposite sign from the equation. So if it is here written x plus 9, you have to choose here negative 9. So negative represents what? Moving left. And what would be the transformation? It is move 3 units left. Now in some places they are saying that translate 3 units right, translate 3 units left. It's all correct. Okay. Okay. So after that, let's suppose here if it is written f of x and outside it is written plus k. It's not inside, it's written outside. So focus at the things which is outside the bracket. So take the same sign, plus and negative. So if k is positive, it means you have to move up. If k is negative, you have to move the down. And you have to take the same sign of the k. Okay, let's suppose it's written f of x plus 8. So let's see this example. So what is k equals to? So k equals to the number which is written over here. And take the same sign. It means plus 8. And plus represents what? Up. So what you will write? Move 8 units up. Okay, let's take one more example. F of x minus 4. Okay, so where is the k? K is the thing which is written outside the f of x. So k is negative 8, negative 4. Take the same sign. So what does negative represents? Down. What does it mean? It means move 4 units down. So this is how we translate the function towards the right, left, up or down. Let's create an equation. For example, a question is x minus 2 plus 1. So looking at this one, in the equation you have x minus h and you have plus k. This is this structure. So the first thing is when you look at the equation, you find out where is my h and where is my k. So h is inside and we take the opposite sign, that means plus 2. K is outside and we take the same sign. H represents right left. So plus says move how many units? Here 2. So 2 units. And where right or left? Plus means right. And now tell me K. K is saying what? Move 1 unit where plus. Plus means up. So this is how we have to describe our transformation. Let's check one more example before moving forward. So y equals to f x plus 1 minus 3, for example. So what I told you, that the first thing is you have to find out what is h and what is my k. So take the opposite sign of h. Here plus 1 is written, you have to take the opposite sign, which means minus 1. Here negative 3 is written, you have to take the same sign for the k. Now these movements you have to memorize the rules. Okay, negative 1 means move 1 unit where right or left, since it is negative, so 1 unit left. Negative means left. And what? Move 3 units. Now let's check about the k. And k is also negative. Negative means down. So I hope that you understood the translation moving right, left, up and down, and when do we translate them together. Now let's try to understand about the vertical stretch or compress. So you have to memorize the rules that remember, if my A is bigger than 1, then it is the vertical stretch. And if my A is between 0 and 1, then it is the vertical compress. So general equation is A outside, f of x. Yani wherever is A is written before my any function. So the first number which is written here is my A. So look at this one. For example, y equals to 2 f of x. So how do you do? This is the question. So now write down. This is my question. Now let's try to understand this one. So what is my A equals to? My A is this number, 2. Is it bigger than 1? Yes, it is bigger than 1. What does it mean? It means that the graph is stretched vertically 2 units by a factor of 2. Vertical is stretch, and how do we write? By a factor of what? Of this number, that is 2. Let's take one more question. Y equals to, let's take y equals to 4 f of x. Okay, so what is happening? So first of all, try to find out what is your A. A is the number which is written in the start, that is 4. And 4 is bigger than 1. When A is bigger than 1, then it is what? It is vertical stretch. By a factor of what? By a factor of 4. Now, what will happen if A is half? Now, let's see here. So, half means what? 0.5. So, this number is less than 1. So, what does it mean? It means you are compressing the graph vertically. So, vertical compress. By what? By a factor of 0.5 or half. Let's suppose one more thing. Let's see the another question. Y equals to let's suppose here 5. Okay, let's suppose here 2 by uh, 2 by 5 f of x. Okay, so what how can I convert this? Okay, so 2 by 5. 2 by 5 means it's 0.4. Is it bigger than 1? No, it is less than 1. So what you will write? You will write vertical compress by a factor of 2 by 5. Simple. So what will happen? What will happen if I have f of 2x like here, for example? Yani this number 2 is inside the f. It's not here, right? It's inside the f of x, yani with the x. So if it is inside, so this means that they are representing the horizontal compress or stretch. Now, so first thing is find out what is b equal to. So b equals to 2. Now b is yani horizontal stretch or compress is opposite than the vertical stretch or compress. So if b is bigger than 2, it means you are compressing horizontally by a factor of 2. But if I have y equals to f1 over 4 x. So now look at the figure over here. It is 1 over 4 means 0.25. So my b is 0.25, which is between more than 0 but less than 1. So in that case, I will say that compress horizontally or horizontal stretch by a factor of 4, 1 by 4. This is how we describe our graphs, horizontal stretch or compress. Now next kind of the transformation is reflection. Now remember, look at this, remember like this. Y equals to negative f of x. Y equals to negative f of x. So if negative is here outside, so it means reflection across x-axis. Reflection across x-axis. And if if negative is inside the bracket, then it is reflection across y-axis. What does it mean? That if there is a graph like this, so here if the minus is outside, so this is the mirror. Yani x-axis is the mirror and your graph will come over here. And if the negative is inside, it means the reflection is across y-axis. So let's suppose this is some figure like this. And if the mirror is the y-axis, so the reflection of this figure will be like this. So this is how we explain all kind of the transformation. So let's review quickly that if the k is with the plus or minus sign, it means moving up or moving down. Plus means moving up, minus means moving down. Now, if we have minus h inside the bracket, it means we take the opposite sign and the h means moving right and moving left. Plus means moving right, minus means moving left, but make sure that you choose the opposite sign. The third thing we studied about the vertical stretch or compress. And I said the first number written before the function is the factor that represents the vertical stretch or compress. A bigger than 1, it is stretch. A is less than 1 but greater than 0, it means it is compress. Reflection over f(x) if the minus is outside the function. Then B. Now look at the B. If I have the B which is greater than 1, it means horizontal compress. But if it B is between 1 and 0, then it will be the horizontal stretch. Now, if the negative is inside the function f of negative x, it means you are reflecting over the y-axis. Now, let's try to have some important questions and try to describe their transformation. So, whenever this says describe the effect of transformation on given equations or given functions, the first thing is that you must know about the general equation of the transformation, that is a f of x minus h plus k. And over here you can write here b. So what is written here? Negative 6. What does it represent? It represents k. Yani compare the equation with the actual equation. So k is given. So just write here k equals to whatever the sign, we take the same sign, negative 6. What does it say? It says move 6 units down. Okay, here. So look at this. Here's 7 written outside. So outside, yani starting number tells us A. So it is A equals to 7. Then inside the equation, minus 2 is written. If I write here minus 2, so it means H it is referring to the H. And for the H, I take the opposite sign. So minus 2 means positive 2. Now A represents vertical stretch or compress. So I will say vertical stretch by a factor of 7. You have to write the full thing. Now what is H? H is 2 and it is positive. So it means you have to move 2 units where? 2 units right. Okay, try to do yourself the second one. So here the 2 is inside. So if inside the bracket, if I compare with my equation, it means I have been given the B. So B is 2. It represents the horizontal. Now 2, it is opposite than the vertical. Bigger than 1, it is the horizontal compress by a factor of 2. By a factor of 2. Now what else is given? Outside is given negative 5. Yani k equals to negative 5. What does it mean? It means you have to move 5 units where? Up or down? It's negative, so 5 units down. Okay, the next you have to write and I will only explain. So look at this one. Here it is written half. Okay, it is written half. So A is half and inside nothing is written, outside written negative 3, which means k equals to negative 3. So half, it is less than 1, so it is vertical compress by a factor of half. And k is negative, it means move 3 units where? Down. Next, the first number is 3, which means A is given, that is 3. Inside the bracket plus 5 is written, which means H equals to negative 5. For the H, we take the opposite sign. So A, it is bigger than 1. So it is vertical stretch by a factor of 3. -5, that means you have to move right or left. So move 5 units towards the left. Okay, here look at this one. So inside written h and also outside it's written -5. So k is written. So h is written as +4, yani x +4. Take the opposite sign, that is -4. Outside k is written and k is written as -5. So k is written as -5. Take the same sign. What does it mean? It means move 4 units left. And this means move 5 units down. Now, over here, what is happening? So the negative is inside, which means that you have to across, reflect across where? Across y-axis. So, and what you have to do, you have been given h. So you have to move 3 units towards the right. Why right? Because it's written -3 and you have to take the opposite sign, that is +3. Okay, over here A is given, that is 5, which means it is the vertical stretch by a factor of 5. H is written, it's x -2. Take opposite, that is +2. Move 2 units right. Outside plus k is written, that means +4. And we take the same sign, which means moving 4 units up. Let's do this one. Now outside 0.5, that means A is 0.5. Inside x -2, so h is written. Take opposite sign, so +2. Outside -1 is written, which means take the same sign. Now here vertical compress, because it is less than 1. Vertical compress by a factor of 0.5. Here h, move 2 units right. Here k -1, move 1 unit where? Down. So this is here how we express or how we determine or how we describe the transformation. Now in the next video I will explain you how can we graph those effects on the graph.